If it is found that survivors were actually killed while clinging onto that boat, should Secretary Hegseth, Admiral Bradley, or others be punished?
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years. I think last year we lost close to 300,000 people were killed. That's not mentioning all the families. Have you seen what happens with the families of not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed? I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing, taking out those boats. And very soon we're going to start doing it on land too, because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they manufacture this crap, we know where they put it all together. And I think you're going to see it very soon on land also. Yeah, please.
So to be clear, you support the decision to kill survivors after the initial
No, I
strike?
support the decision to knock out the boats. And whoever's piloting those boats, most of them are gone. But whoever are piloting those boats, they're guilty of trying to kill people in our country.
You think you've seen live TV drama? Watch Jessica Tarlov systematically destroy Fox co-host arguments with cold, undeniable facts. On a recent broadcast, Fox hosts were defending the Trump administration's strikes on boats allegedly carrying narcotics, claiming the actions were justified. Enter Jessica Tarlov.
All right, so Jessica, it takes 2 strikes to knock the boat down to the bottom of the ocean. How is that a war crime?
Well, it's a war crime, and we didn't play any Republicans, but there were plenty of them that have been talking about, like John Yoo, who was the architect of the Bush 9/11 response, was talking about this as well, that if there are people who are shipwrecked, which is what these 2 survivors were.
Survivors?
They survived the first strike.
Jessica. They're not survivors.
Okay.
They're victims.
You know,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
that's how the DOD manual says that you have to do it, that you have to take them, you should send a helicopter to get them out of there, and then you try them. Or international law also says that as well. You could play Roger Wicker talking about it, Senator Tom Tillis, Mike Turner. These are all Republicans saying it. So the narrative that this is about the left getting all hot and bothered about another hoax is absolutely ludicrous.
She didn't flinch, didn't get defensive. She calmly went point by point, shredding the host talking points with facts live on air. And the result? A brutal on-air fact check that left the co-hosts scrambling and exposed just how little they understand about the legal and moral implications of these actions. All right, so here's what went down. The Fox host suggested that the Trump administration was justified in double-tapping survivors from a missile strike, framing it as self-defense. But the reality is far more complicated.
No, you can't, actually. You already asked me a question. No, I insist
What
you stop.
happens if we hit a terrorist and the terrorist survives? We're supposed to send a helicopter to rescue him and then give him first aid?
We know that this isn't
Jessica,
a hoax
yes or
because
no?
a best-case scenario is that Admiral Bradley, who they're trying to put all the blame on, is the one who authorized the second lethal strike that took out these people who, again, it was a violation of the law that they were killed. We also know that the U.S. doesn't always do this because there was another strike in the Caribbean back in September where a Colombian and an Ecuadorian person survived, and we repatriated them home. We didn't even take them to court here for the crimes that we knew that they'd committed. We sent them back to their home country. There is tons of reporting now. You want to call the Washington Post fake news, that's fine. The New York Times story, by the way, didn't exonerate them. We also have the Wall Street Journal saying that a DOD official says that Hegseth was the, quote, target engagement authority, so the guy in charge. We also know, writ large, that the story about this administration being focused on eradicating American society of drugs.
Tarlov immediately called this out, explaining that the strikes violated both U.S. and international law and were technically law enforcement actions, not acts of war. She cited the DOD manual, remember that thing? Yeah, which mandates rescuing survivors and giving them due process even far from U.S. shores, and referenced Republicans who also question the legality, like Senators Roger Wicker, Tom Tillis, and Mike Turner. Now, when the host claimed the survivors were still a threat, Tarlov calmly dissected the absurdity. How could the military know 2 survivors were completing a drug delivery when they were already trapped in fire and smoke?
Donald Trump went and pardoned. He's walking free now, the former Honduran president who trafficked 400 tons of cocaine into America. Why did he get to leave prison early? He had a 45-year sentence, which, by the way, Trump administration number one, prosecuted him because Roger Stone is his buddy and because he wrote Donald Trump a letter calling him Your Excellency and saying that they shared conservative values. The problem is the story is changing every 10 minutes. It went from fake news to the frog shooting narco terrorists to it is not changing at all.
Yeah,
actually, once you let me
Jessica.
talk, it's completely consistent.
Okay.
Now it's Admiral Bradley's fault, and I presume that he's getting lawyered up right now.
She pointed out that every rationale offered, blocking communications, sinking debris, or claiming self-defense 1,500 miles away, had been contradicted by officials just days apart. You could see the host's confidence falter as their talking points collapsed under scrutiny, and the live audience could sense the tension and discomfort building. The clip isn't just entertaining, it's a stark reminder of the stakes when the media amplifies misinformation. Tarlov heightened that even conservative voices, when informed, recognized the Trump administration's actions violated military rules and the law.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Pennsylvania seek recognition? Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Commanding our armed forces and safeguarding our national security requires exemplary honor, experience, and loyalty to Constitution. Yet time and time again, the President and his Defense Secretary have proven themselves unfit. They have ordered dozens of illegal strikes on alleged drug boats in the Caribbean without congressional approval. This week, we've learned they likely committed war crimes by ordering a second strike targeting and killing survivors. At the same time, President Trump is pardoning criminals like Juan Orlando Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, who was convicted in a U.S. court for smuggling more than 500 tons of cocaine into our country and sentenced to 45 years. The president is also threatening violence against our very members of Congress.
Beyond the immediate drama, social media erupted in praise for her composure and factual precision. It's a reminder that facts still matter, even when networks try to spin narratives and push political agendas over reality.
Some fresh reporting coming to light because of the Washington Post and it's surrounding the U.S. government's strikes on boats in the Caribbean. WAPO reports that during the initial strike on a boat alleged to be trafficking drugs back on September 2nd, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth issued an order to, quote, kill everybody on the vessel. Now, after an initial strike on the vessel left 2 people alive and clinging to the burning wreckage of the boat, a second strike on the stricken vessel was taken in order to carry out Hegseth's wishes. Now, the Post's article contains analysis from a former military lawyer named Todd Huntley, who says there's a possibility that such a kill order, quote, amounts to murder.
In the end, Jessica Tarlov did more than correct mistakes. She exposed the administration's legal and moral failures, demonstrated the importance of due process, and proved that a calm, knowledgeable voice can cut through misinformation. For viewers, the takeaway is simple. Don't just accept what you hear on TV. Facts still win, even when the other side refuses to play by the rules. Thanks for joining us again today on Debate Mania. My name is Adam Carr. If you liked the video, go ahead and smash that like button. And what the heck, go ahead and subscribe. We'll see you next time.